I, 28F, have been in a relationship with my fiancé, Tyler, 42M, for the last 4 years. He has 2 kids from a previous marriage, 11F and 8M. His wife passed away when his youngest was 1 year old, and he met me 3 years later. His kids are wonderful and lovely, and we get along great. We live together, and I do everything for them since Tyler works long hours. They call me mom, but they are aware of who their real mom is. We have her pictures in their rooms, and Tyler talks about her to them all the time. We are planning our wedding, and my father offered us his condo in Hawaii for our honeymoon. It was a very kind and generous offer. When I told Tyler, he was so grateful. Then he said, "I bet the kids will have a blast." I looked at him in disbelief and said, "Kids?" He said, "Yes, the kids." I replied, "This is our honeymoon. I don't want to be a mom on my honeymoon. We can go on plenty of family trips later, but this is something just for us." He said, "I was honest with you from day one. I told you I'm a package deal. You can't just choose me and not my kids." I told him I understand, but can they stay with his mom for 1 week? Just for our honeymoon? He got very frustrated and said he couldn't believe how insensitive and selfish I was being. Am I wrong to expect to have a child-free honeymoon? Edit. I was into him, and I was the one who pursued him. I thought he was younger. He told me about his real age, his kids, and his late wife from the first moment. He even said he would understand if I said no. I still loved him. I loved how honest and caring he was. Commenter. This is not your fault. What's wrong with him? It is not a family vacation, it's a honeymoon. Having a honeymoon does not make you the evil stepmother. It's very concerning that that's where his mind immediately went. Honestly, this is a red flag, and you need to reevaluate. It sounds like you've bent over backwards to fit into this family, which is amazing, but are you sure this man wants you and not just another parent to help him raise his children? The healthiest families have independent bonds with each member and spend time one-on-one. Perhaps he's overreacting and does value you individually as well, but it's not looking good. Up. He is a police officer, so he has long hours. I'm a nurse, so I can set my own hours. I'm responsible for anything childcare related. You are right. I wonder if he really wants to be with me or if he just wants a mom for his kids. Commenter. You need to run. It is one thing to neglect your kids, and another to not realize that every environment is not appropriate for children. You will have further issues down the road regarding this, especially if you ever decide to have children with this man. He won't even hear you out, and you should be cautious about being with someone who could automatically cast you as an evil step-parent just because you have boundaries. Up. He knows I want to have kids eventually. He said he is not ready yet, but he will be eventually. I do feel like a villain now because I want a week to ourselves. Update 1. Thank you very much for all the private messages and comments. I'm so glad I posted here. So many of you suspected that he had a vasectomy. Well, I decided to have a serious discussion with him about everything last night. He said he has never cheated on me and he never will. I asked him if he had a vasectomy and to be honest and just tell me if he did. He didn't even deny it. He said, "Yeah, but you gotta understand, I lost my wife when my youngest was an infant. It was such a traumatic time for me, and I wanted to make sure I'll never go through it again." I started crying. I asked him how could he lie to me all these years? He didn't even feel bad. He said, "Well, you never asked. You asked now and I told you. Plus, what's the big deal? I have frozen sperm in the clinic, and it's a reversible procedure." I was floored. "You saw me taking pills, yet you didn't mention it?" He said, "Well, I thought you were taking pills because you had a heavy period." I couldn't believe this man still blamed me when he was the one lying to my face. I told him how unhappy I am, how burned out I am, and how he uses his work hours so he can dump the responsibilities on me, and I don't even feel loved anymore. I gave him his ring back and told him I was done. He was shocked. At first, he thought I was kidding, then he saw me packing my clothes at 11 p.m., so he started arguing that I should just wait a little longer so by December he will know about his job. After that, we will go to a fertility clinic, and you will have your stupid baby. Then he started guilt-tripping me, saying stuff like his kids have already been traumatized once, how could I be so selfish and leave them? I didn't even bother answering. I left for my parents' place. He has been begging and saying he will change, he will be more involved, and asking me to come back, saying, "You are their mom, and we miss you, come back." I'm mentally exhausted. I can't believe I have been so stupid. I'm going to start finding a place for myself near my work. Thank you everyone for the support. Commenter. The love bombing begins. The endless promises to change, how much he and the kids are missing you, how cruel you're being to them by leaving. He's going to do everything he can, say whatever he thinks will work, to bully you into going back. Leaving was the right thing to do, but staying away is going to be much, much harder. Tell your parents and your friends exactly why you've left and why you don't want to go back, so they can support you in staying away from him. Don't be silent about this or feel ashamed. You deserve much better than this, and I hope you get it. Up. That's exactly what he is doing. My parents think I overreacted and I should give him another chance. My parents love him and his kids. They keep saying what a nice guy he is. I can't believe they are taking his side. I need to find my own place ASAP. My mom said, but you are not getting younger. He is a good guy who has been through a lot. You will have a baby if you be patient, and you know he is a great dad. Those kids need you. Do you really want to start over at your age? Mom, I'm 28, not 88, for God's sake. I'm so glad I'm working today or I would lose it. Update 2. I left my ex because he was lying to me and treating me like garbage, as I mentioned in another post. We were together for 4 years, and I did everything for his 2 kids. I went back to pack my stuff, and his daughter said her dad told her that I left because I couldn't stand them anymore and he chose them over me. I was floored. I asked my ex, and he, in front of the kids, said that he was just telling them the truth. He said, "You wanted a baby because my kids were too much for you. You hated my kids. Remember, you even wanted to exclude them from our trip." For context, when he said our trip, he meant our honeymoon. He wanted to bring his kids to our freaking honeymoon. I told the kids that's not true and tried to explain, but both kids cried and went to their rooms. My ex screamed, "Are you happy now? Get the F out of my house." I know I shouldn't care, but after 4 years of doing everything for them, this is what I get? I'm so mad at him.